On today's Into Your Head podcast number 628 for Monday, I launch a scathing attack on the modern trouser. I also look at the future of dairy delivery systems in kitchens, how dogs' brains work, the life cycle of a plastic lunchbox, television warnings of violence from the outset, expunging tea from a Monster energy drink, the beautifully ugly nature of creativity, fake wheat in Dublin city streets, the problem with self-explanatory concepts, 80s celebrity Nigel Kennedy versus 80s ongoing celebrity Gary Rhodes, Matchstick Cats versus Vivaldi's Four Seasons, and more.
You're listening to Into Your Head, hosted by Neil, Ireland's version of the Octomom. Except he's a dude, and has cats.
This is a prelude to today's episode of Into Your Head. Although I say it's a prelude, but really I've killed off the whole concept of prelude now with the slightly new format where I come on at the beginning over the music and do a highly rehearsed coming up on today's Into Your Head. So I can't really do a prelude. The most pre it can come is after that. I don't want to do a prelude before that. I want that to be the very beginning of the show. It's very important that new listeners hear me shouting over a piece of trendy music about what's coming up on the show, because that's how it's done in the media nowadays. You wouldn't see the likes of the news fella coming on saying, "Hello, just like to have a word with you today before I read today's news headlines." Well, I suppose it would depend what it was. If there was some major catastrophe, he might want to put out a warning saying, today's news contains scenes of death and destruction and violence and warfare and AIDS and people not blowing their noses and all sorts of things, flies buzzing around. Starving children's eyes in a third world country, the rest of it. So just be aware that that's coming up from the outset, as they say on the BBC now. They say this show contains violence from the outset, and straight away, sure as be damned, the outset comes on, and you see folds of violence and thuggery as promised, and it usually turns out fine. The problem, as I say, with this new format is that I can't do my thing that I like to do occasionally, whether I do an extra thing before the show. I say this is a prelude to today's episode of Into Your Head. This is a prelude to the meat of the show. It's not a prelude to the whole show. It's the best I can do for now. So anyway, it doesn't really have any purpose to it, except to point out that the opening segment contains me speaking with my mouth full of food, and with hindsight it's rather disgusting, so I just want to let you know it only goes on for a minute or two, then it goes back to normal. I finish my breakfast and then I carry on with a bog standard show. I won't be filling your ears with crap for the whole half hour or whatever it is, so just be aware of that. Don't panic when you hear disgusting noises in the foreseeding, like the Four Seasons, except the Four Seasons by Vivaldi. That was a fine piece of music, I can tell you. I can't remember how it went. There was a fella called Nigel Kennedy in the 80s. He's just called Kennedy now. He's decided to change. He's just called Kennedy the same way Madonna is called Madonna. And he used to be very popular with his violin and his orchestra. And he'd go around doing performances of Vivaldi's Four Seasons. And then everyone thought, oh, look, he's got a trendy haircut, but he's not in a punk band. And he's not George Michael. It's absolutely fantastic, or vaguely interesting anyway, for a couple of weeks, I suppose, if that's the sort of thing you're into. There's a fella called Gary Rhodes on the BBC who was exactly like him as well. Except he looked like him, except he was a chef. And he did roads around Britain and then roads around Europe. It was very clever. There's all sorts of scope for puns with his name. He was very like Nigel Kennedy as well, except without the musical stuff. Anyway, as I say, this is being a prelude to a short, disgusting opening segment which follows now, but don't panic, it doesn't go on forever. you join me at a tremendously exciting moment. I'm just putting the finishing touches to the consumption of my breakfast. My breakfast being a triple layer banana and fried egg sandwich. Fried banana and fried egg. In fact, it's pretty much all being fried except the bread. I brought the bread cooked. The bread came... I'm probably over-explaining here, but the bread came fully cooked, came in a packet. Although many would consider that not cooked. They'd say, that bread isn't cooked until you put it in a frying pan or your toaster. But no, all bread comes cooked nowadays. You can buy dough, you can buy bread that's being half cooked that you put in the oven so it's hot. This is a industrial age. We buy our bread fully prepared now. In fact, I'm surprised they don't come pre-buttered. What would be wrong with getting a pre-buttered a pre-buttered loaf of bread? Save us having to fuck around with these fucking cow's milk products. It's bad enough to have to get like... It's bad, and in my future day, they'll have a machine on the inside door of the fridge, just as they will have one for making ice. They'll have one that you keep milk in, and you'll press a button that'll say butter, or you'll press a button that'll say milk, or you'll press a button that'll say cream, and it'll produce it just like the ice machine does, and it'll be piped in through the water supply. I think they should start starting. Putting fluoride in the water system over here. I can't see why they shouldn't start adding dairy produce to it as well. Well, go the whole hog. Don't worry, I'm nearly finished eating. One little piece of bread left. Just about going now. Wash it down with some energy drink in a moment, and then we'll be ready to get going on today's show. Into your head, number 628 for Monday. Absolutely fucking fantastic. Hello.
Into your head.
Anyway, we've a lot to get on with today. Items that need to be attended to, issues that need to be addressed, topics. Oh, topics. We've got lots and lots of topics. We're positively booming to the seams with topics. We've got topics hopefully coming out of that breakfast that you had to put up with me eating. Sorry about that. I know it's disgusting. I listened back to it and it was disgusting listening to myself cramming bread and fried banana and butter down my throat, but I can't tell you, it was fucking delicious, and it'll fuel my brain now for the next couple of hours while I attempt to put together today's show, which I can tell you is not an easy feat. You have to be nutritionalized for it. I took my vitamins earlier. I've had plenty of coffee. I've got some energy drink here. I'm still trying to get rid of that fucking monster tea that I drink. There's a fucking monster energy drink with tea in it now that I had the misfortune to try a few days ago. Completely undrinkable, but I've kept the can and I've been pouring about a fifth of it into each cup of energy drink that I have, so it dilutes it, so I'm not wasteful. I'm well aware that there's starving black kids in Africa somewhere who'd kill for an energy drink made out of tea. Unfortunately, I wouldn't kill for it. I'm not a fucking murderer, and maybe that's why I lead a better life than them, and I'm not sitting around wondering whether the rice crop is going to grow. No, because I don't go around murdering people just over a tea-based energy. They can grow tea over there. We can't grow tea in Ireland, you know. They can grow tea over there. They've got the climate for it. If you try to grow tea over here, I can tell you, go out your tea leaves and put them down in the ground. The ground would just laugh at you. The ground would say, you do realise you're in Ireland. We're lucky. It's a miracle that you've managed to keep 3 rose bushes growing for the last 5 years in your front garden. And that fucking that cherry blossom tree or whatever it is that gets scratched by your 8 cats every day. That's enough. You've got enough out of Mother Nature in your garden, I can tell you, in your climate. Go away out with that. You realise those are tea leaves, they're not seeds anyway. I don't know how tea seeding works. I don't need to know. It's never going to be an issue in my life. There's never going to come a time, I suspect, at which I'll go, oh, I need to plant some tea now. How do I go about it? Do I go to the shop and get some tea seeds, or do the tea leaves amount to tea seeds? I don't know. You never know what these things. When I was a child, they tell you in school, if you got an apple there, look at those things inside it. If you put those things in the ground and piss on them now, in 20 years time, that'll be an apple tree sprouting apples just like that, and you'll never have to buy an apple again. At this point in your life, you're thinking, I've never bought an apple before. This is supplied to me by my parents. It was in my lunchbox, my plastic lunchbox. That's made from trees as well. Plastic grows on rubber trees or something, if I remember rightly. Do they want us to plant a lunchbox tree as well? That'll be the next thing. No. Lunchboxes, as far as I'm concerned, they're like the mythical pair of socks, one of which always goes missing in the wash. It's physically impossible to keep a hold of a lunchbox for more than 3 months in any lifetime, even with an OCD person such as me. They go missing. You can't hold on to. You don't ever get too attached to a fucking lunchbox because it's going to go missing. Just like my cat Pippi. My oldest cat Pippi is currently missing. If you're in my area, follow me on Twitter for photos and information, and please keep a lookout for her. Pippi the cat, a large black and white cat in the Athy area with a cauliflower ear, and if you've kidnapped her, you fucking well better get her safe back to me, or I can tell you, I'll have your guts for garters. Is that what they say? Your guts for garters? I don't know what the standard phrases are for issuing threats regarding a much loved cat, but whatever it is that you threaten, I hereby threaten, if you don't bring my cat back safely to me. Anyway, on with the show. 2 dogs walk into a bar. One of the dogs straight away goes up to the bar counter and sits up on a stool there and sticks out his tongue and starts doing the thing that all dogs do. And then some woman looks at him and says, pervert. And the dog says, this is a line from Family Guy. You can't be just regurgitating things from popular adult animated TV comedy series in some story in a bar. Come up with something more original than that. You're better than that, You invented the 2 cats walk into a bar story. You don't need to be stealing stuff off Seth MacFarlane. And the woman says, fair enough. Can I get you anything to drink? And the dog says, no, thank you, I'm a dog. I've just come in here to pant and make friends and wag my tail a bit and get excited, and hopefully someone will throw me some bacon scratchlings or whatever it is that they sell as snacks in bars that I might like. I hope is this by any chance a food bar that would have a bacon sandwich, because I wouldn't say no to one of those. I wouldn't say no to anything like that. Maybe a banana and egg sandwich on Brennan's bread. Cooked bread, mind you. It better damn well be cooked. I don't go for uncooked bread. I'm only a dog. I don't have a highly developed digestive system. I'm only able to eat basically meat and vegetables and anything else that can fit inside my mouth. But a lot of those things will get rejected ultimately by my digestive system. So just because it fits in my mouth, that doesn't mean I should be eating it. I have to always remember that. It's one thing I have to remember through my 12 years of life as a dog. I have to remember that. And tell you, remembering things is no mean feat for a dog. Look at the size of my head, for example. Half of that is just my jaw and my mouth and my snout. The size of my brain is radically smaller than the average human. And when you think how a human gets when they're older, how they find it hard to remember stuff, imagine how it's like for a dog. A dog like me or my friend over there who's sitting down at a table. I wonder why he's doing that. Is he expecting me to buy him around or something? Like a couple of humans. Christ, that fella's weird sometimes. But at least he's my friend. He may not be man's best friend, but he's mine. I suppose a man and me can both have the same best friend. I don't know how this man's best friend thing works. To be perfectly honest, maybe I don't need to leave that stuff to the human to sort out. That's why we work so well together. A lot of the stuff I'm only able to do, and a lot of the stuff your man is only able to do. We work together as a team. That's how the dog and the man thing works. It's different for cats, you know. It's very much different for cats. With a cat, if you throw a cat a bone, I can tell you, it'll take half an hour to play with it, and then it'll lick the edge out of her house. And if it's small enough, it might manage to eat something of it if there's nothing left. But I can tell you, it won't start playing with you. It won't say, oh, here's your bone back, throw it to me again. Although I've always wondered what the point was in that. As a dog, it serves no benefit to me or the human being to be tossing around what's basically a Ferronis part of a skeleton. If you handed that to a child, I can tell you you'd get arrested. If he told that fella's giving body parts to his child to play with and or eat, off to prison you must go, you must go, you must go, off to prison you must go, and perhaps take a visit to the judiciary system on the way, because this is after all a modern country. We don't just throw people in jail without some element of judiciary, hopefully. Anyway, woof. As the dog says. This story isn't going very far. It wasn't meant to be. It's not so much a story as a portrait. It's a photo of a picture, as Martin Scorsese would say. It's just a picture of a snapshot in time. Unlike Martin Scorsese's pictures that go on for an hour and a half, this is just a short snapshot. Someone takes an interesting snapshot of a dog sitting at the bar having a conversation with a woman, and I've taken a snapshot of it and translated it into audio form to pass a few minutes of your commute. That's all it is, nothing more than that. And frankly, I think that's an art. That's an art. And if you're interested in supporting the arts, the best way to go about it, this is an advertisement by the way, is to go to intoyourhead.com every time you're going to buy anything on Amazon, and click through my Amazon links and earn me a commission. Doesn't cost you anything extra. And currently I also have a new affiliate called allsomethingbattery.com, and until the end of October they're giving free shipping on all battery purchases over a certain amount. If you go through my website, just go to intoyourhead.com, click on the batteries ad, you'll see you'll see a voucher code there before you click as well. Use that, you get free shipping. Buy a battery that's 8 tons in weight, and think of all the free shipping you'll be benefiting from as a result of the special offer. Intoyourhead.com. On with the show.
Hello, I'm Dustin Meehan.
Is Misha Dustin Meehan agus nuair bí mé sa tír seo cloisín mé go into your head. It's just come to my attention that in the earlier segment, which I flagged as a prelude to the Munchen session, I noticed that in the background of that there was an odd noise, and I was aware of the noise while I was recording, and I was aware I had to narrow down to two things. There was either my chair squeaking and needing to be oiled, or else it was one of my cats scratching at the door. So I thought I'd finish the segment and then investigate. So I finished the segment and then investigated, and on investigation, which involved turning my chair upside down and spraying oil onto it, which has remedied the situation, I found out what the problem was. It was that my chair needed oiling, which is fortunate, because I can't imagine spraying oil at a cat, quite frankly. I don't think, if I had, I wouldn't tell you about it on here anyway, because there's sort of people who listen to this, they'll say, oh, that fella's going on about spraying oil on a cat. He's already talking about leaving dogs to their own devices in adult bars as some sort of a joke, and he's going on about threatening about violence on TV and something about children not being able to grow tea and starving in the third world. That fella's clearly an antichrist. He's clearly a scumbag thug. We're going to get Mother Teresa onto him now. We'll dig up the late great Mother Teresa and get him to have a few. Well, I've made webcomics about Mother Teresa, I'll have you know. If you go to intoyourhead.com, go through the menus and you'll find Matchstick Cats the webcomic, which recently made a return with 5 new episodes and more to come whenever I feel like it. There's one of them with an old one that features a discussion about Mother Teresa, and I consider it one of my finest classics, just like Nigel Kennedy considers his version of Vivaldi's Four Seasons to be one of his classics, except in his case Vivaldi gets the original credit, but in my case I didn't steal my cartoons off some frigging vintage classical cartoon script composer. I made them all by myself. I was able to go, I made this, and not be lying about it. That's the best thing about creativity, doing it yourself. It may be a pile of crap at times, it may be the worst stinking useless pile of shit sometimes, it may be absolutely fantastic other times, it may be variable in quality and content, but it's all me. I made this crap. It may be crap, but I damn well made it. How many people can say that? How many people in this world can say, I created Into Your Head and Matchstick Cats? Nobody except me, I can tell you. So with that in your pipe and smoke it, hello.
If you would like to comment on any of the issues raised in today's programme, email us at studio@intoyourhead.com. Remember, we value the opinions of you, the humble and ignorant listener.
Now, I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking, I wonder has he any banana and egg sandwich left? Unfortunately, no. But also, fortunately, no. Because frankly, I'm full. I don't want to expend the whole day being full up, because there's still dinner to be eaten later, and I want to have room left for that. I do notice here that there's 3 not insubstantial rather, crumbs left on the plate. In fact 4, because I've just accidentally broken one into 2 by playing with it, but we'll call it 3. So there's 3 crumbs left here. I'm not going to eat them. I'm going to show some restraint. They say, the dietitians say you shouldn't, you should train yourself to not have to finish everything on your plate. You're allowed to leave some stuff on your plate sometimes, so I'm going to leave those 3 to 4 crumbs there on the plate. I'm going to put it down there. In fact, just so I'm not tempted, I'm going to empty the crumbs onto the floor. Here we go. They're on the floor now. I wouldn't be able to find them even if I wanted to, because my eyesight sucks, and there's all sorts of dust and crap on the floor as well. I haven't cleaned it in about 6 months. So there we go. That's how you manage your appetite. You throw everything away. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking the starving kids in Africa would kill to eat those breadcrumbs. Well, they don't have to. You don't have to kill to get bread. It's a fucking... it grows in the street. You see the Brennan's bread ad. They show a young girl walking through a Dublin city centre street. Except by the miracle of technology, they've covered it in hay or corn or wheat or wherever it is that bread's made from. They've covered the streets in that, and she's walking through the city centre of Dublin, just like in the closing credits to Little House on the Prairie, except she's not running down a hill because it's all level. There's no hills in Dublin city centre, although now that you mention it, Dame Street up to Christchurch is quite steep. No, she wasn't there. She was in the Merrion Square area, if I remember rightly, and I know that area quite right? Well, there is a park there, as a matter of fact, but she was walking in the street just outside the park, despite there being a huge park there with big green areas in it, where you could quite easily have grown some real wheat without disrupting traffic. But no, they filmed it there. They filmed it there just so they could market an upmarket bread. The joke's on them, because I only buy Brennan's bread when it's on special reduction offer in my local store, and then I put it in the freezer and I take it out when I want it, and then I sit there waiting for it to defrost, like a cat sits waiting to pounce on a bird. And when it's defrosted, I pounce on it and I open the package. I lay them out on a plate or a breadboard, and I do the appropriate. I suppose I fry up the egg and the banana, obviously, and put them on it. I think this is all pretty much self-explanatory. But in order for something to be self-explanatory, it has to exist. There's no point complaining that something is self-explanatory and then saying, oh, there's no point putting that bread there because the bread is self-explanatory. Well, if I don't put the bread there, then there's nothing to explain itself. For something to... I don't know if I'm explaining this very well. For something to be self-explanatory, the self that's explaining itself still has to exist. And if you say, oh, you don't have to put that there because it's self-explanatory, then it won't be there at all. It won't be there to explain itself. It's like if you're going to court and you say, this fella's defence speaks for itself. Well, the defence is not even an inanimate object that has a robotic tape inside it. The defence is a thing in the fella's brain, and it has to be carried in the vessel of his head and brought out through his mouth or his legal representative's mouth. I hope I've made myself clear there. I'm not sure that I have. It's the best I can do in 4 minutes and 22 seconds. Anyway, on with the show. This is an afterlude to today's show. I'm only doing this because I didn't get the satisfaction of doing a genuine prelude for reasons explained earlier to do with the new opening format. So no, this is an afterlude. Although I may do the sit meow good cat thing after this, just for the sake of fullness and endiness. But no, to all intents and purposes, this is an afterlude. An afterlude is like the closing chapter of the book after the story's been told and all's been said and done. It's like a little bibliographical note at the end. What can I tell you? That would be bibliographical here. I suppose I can tell you that this show was recorded a few days ago, 11:34 in the morning, and other times throughout the morning. In fact, I started at around 8:20 this morning. It's not done yet, I can tell you. I haven't even done the fancy new opening sequence yet. I can't do that till the end. I have to make a list of what's on the show and then shout it over some trendy music, just like they do on young people media. They say, coming up on today's Into Your Head, a preview, a prelude, and an afterlude, and some stuff about dogs and all that. You'll have heard it already. I won't go on about it now because you've already heard that at the beginning of the show. In fact, it may well have enticed you to fast forward through the show to a particular topic that you're interested in, and you might have accidentally come across this segment here, in which case you'll probably be a bit annoyed. Sorry about that. It's the nature of the program. It's the nature of this show. It's a mixed bag. It's like one of those trail nuts that your man on the Dan Klass on the podcast The Bitterest Pill is always going on about trail bars or trailer nut bags or something. There's some sort of healthy thing. Trail mix, that's what it is. Basically nuts and dried fruit in the bag. Apparently it's very expensive. He's got something where he has to eat every 3 minutes or he'll get a huge headache. So he's always talking about looking out for trailer mix bags. If I was him, I'd just carry one around. I'd have a cavity perhaps made inside a leg extension or or something, or a pocket, I suppose. You can put it in a pocket. People nowadays have forgotten all about the joys of having a decent pocket. I went out to buy trousers the other day. They had the fucking pockets were down on the knees. You put your keys in your pocket, so it feels like the thing that's supposed to give you access to your home is trying to scrape your shin a bit, and your wallet is nearly down at your ankle. Fuck off with your whatever they're called, I don't know. The trousers with the fucking zip pockets down near the knees. Fuck off. Pockets are supposed to go at the end of your hands for easy access, and you're supposed to be able to feel your wallet banging against your genitals if you move the right way, so you can reassure yourself that you haven't lost it. Absolutely, that's the way a proper trouser, a proper man's trouser anyway. You don't have things hanging down at the bottom and bits hanging off and a frigging rope instead of a belt, frigging buttons instead of a zip. No, that's no way for a modern man to live. Let's all stand up for the good old fashioned gentleman trouser, or I suppose the denim trouser, I suppose, is fine as well. But don't be making change, what do they call it? Don't be trying to fix something that's not broken. Fix the stuff that's fucking broken. Leave the stuff that's not broken alone. I suppose, to put it another way, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Unfortunately, the problem with that phrase is that it's grammatically incorrect and it's crying out to be fixed. It's not if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's if it is not broken, do not attempt to repair it, or something like that. So fix the grammar but nothing else. Good morning.
Help support this
free podcast.
Go to intoyourhead.com/tipjar.
Sit, Pippi, sit.
Intoyourhead.com.